Good morning. Well, it was just after 5 a.m. local time that we started hearing a series of loud thuds, a dozen, perhaps 24 of them, clearly large explosions. They've continued sporadically, by the way. Shortly after that, Ukraine confirmed that it was under attack, saying that they were Russian missile strikes targeting its military infrastructure. Ukraine now says that Russian forces have come across its borders, including just near here in Kyiv. However, we have not seen them in the city at this point. Ukraine says that it will distribute weapons to veterans and volunteers so that they can continue the fight. And in that speech last night, President Volodymyr Zelensky got at that saying, quote, "You are courageous, you are unbroken, you are Ukrainian."
A Fox News alert now. If you're just waking up with us this morning, the people of Kyiv now bracing for what could be a bloody battle as Russian troops close in on the capital city.
Russian troops are closing in on the city center of Kyiv. Of course, that is the capital of Ukraine. Explosions have been heard across the country. The president said more than 130 Ukrainians were killed in the first day of fighting.
Welcome to episode number 13 of TahrirPodcast. My guest today is Kate Romashko. She's an Ukrainian teacher, and she's a Kyiv resident. She lives in Kyiv, Ukraine. And welcome, Kate.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you. So, Kate, how's the situation on the ground with the Russian troops closing in on the capital of Ukraine? How's the situation looking like?
So basically, we have events of different scale happening all around Ukraine. So it's not only on the eastern part anymore, just like we had before, but actually the Russian troops are advancing from all sides, both from the sea and from the ground as well. So Kyiv region is also being, how should I say this, surrounded from all different sides. Basically, I feel like the Russians are just forming this like circle around us and are trying to invade as much as they can, as much as possible. But Ukrainian army is standing strong, and I'm reading in some official governmental resources, specifically in Telegram, that we are pushing back hard, and we are succeeding quite greatly in that. So we have very great chances.
Yeah. And were you and people in Kyiv expecting this like further escalation?
Actually, it is already escalating.
No, I mean before it happened.
Before it happened, I think people were thinking that they were hoping that this actually is not going to escalate to the level of war. And during the first morning, during the first day when it all actually started, from people hearing some loud explosions at around 4-ish, 5-ish in the morning, understanding that this is the beginning of war, and Russia has declared war on Ukraine, and now we need to start protecting our country. So up until that moment, I'm pretty sure that most of people, they were hoping that this is not going to escalate to this level, and they were hoping that Russia will not dare to actually do that. But they did, and we are standing strong.
Yeah. And there are a lot of civilians taking arms and volunteering to fight. That you know of?
I'm reading, so I have Instagram and I have a lot of people that I am following, and so I'm reading about some acquaintances, some friends that I personally know who are volunteering to be like, they're not in the military, but they are just civilians who sign up to be also part of the like resistance to be able to push back. They form these groups where they can have different tasks and be helpful, and also have some of them can have guns, and also protecting our country as well. So this is actually happening. People are able to do that only by just presenting their passport, and they can sign up anytime. There are special places where you can go at. They're indicated also on some resources, some official governmental resources, and you can just go there and be part of it.
Yeah. And have you personally seen or heard any explosions, fighting, anything of that sort?
Yes. So basically, the first day I woke up to an explosion at 5 in the morning. On the second day, I also jumped out of bed at 4:20 because I actually heard some explosions in the direction of a Ukrainian airport. It's like not an international airport, but it's like a more local location where the military also have their so it's like an important point, and this point is actually constantly being under fire, and our people are constantly protecting it, both the military and the people who have volunteered for it. They're trying to push back, and I constantly hear some not loud, but like some minor sounds of constant fighting there. And also today, as I was meeting a friend, she's now staying with me as well, just to be safe. We were walking back to my house, and we saw some very bright lightnings in the sky. And after that, we read that there were like 5 of them or so. And then afterwards, we read that it's actually the Russians were trying to hit the heat and electronic station. They were trying to hit it, but it is working, and like, we're not going to lose heat or electricity. Everything is going to be fine in our region. So, and we constantly receive, like, just right now also, like, I'm following on my Telegram in different resources, some news, and I'm reading constantly about, like, please be aware that there might be some airborne danger, so please pursue to some bomb shelters, and please be safe. So some people do that, and they go down and descend in the shelter. Or, for example, like we're doing right now, we're actually trying to stay as much as possible in the hallway as well, so that we are far away from the windows, because the explosions might hit, like the wave might sorry, I'm a bit
Yeah, no.
nervous. Yeah, the explosion might hit the glass, and it can shatter, and also bring some wounds. So we're just staying in the hallway and covering all of the glass doors and everything, and trying to stay away from there. Yeah, I'm also, if you can see, my window here is covered, and
Yeah.
we're also using some tape to put it on the window, just to make sure if the glass breaks, it will not spread all around the room. So yeah, the region where I live specifically is called Darnica. It doesn't really have not even really. It doesn't have any important military points. So this region is actually quite calm. But throughout the day today, there were tanks in Obolon region. If someone from Ukraine is watching this and they know what I'm talking about, there were tanks in Obolon. There were some explosions at the airport of Hostomel. In Brovary, there was a plant, not plant, but like warehouse with all the things for guns and everything. So like it caught fire at some point. So like different locations throughout the Kyiv. And this morning I also woke up to an explosion not very far from my region in Poznyaki. Basically a missile or like an unknown flying object was passing by the civilian house, and Ukrainians intercepted it. It shattered, and it hit one of the houses, like civilian houses, and it caught fire also. So the floors 4 through 9 were on fire, but fortunately people were evacuated. 5 people, I think, were hospitalized and were given some medical assistance. I hope that they're fine at this point. I haven't read any like particular news about that afterwards. So yeah, bombings are happening throughout the Kiev region, and we can see them really, we can see them up in the sky.
Yeah. And have you lost power, the internet, water, gas supply in the recent hours, or?
No, everything at this point is fine. We had some information, as I was mentioning, that the power and heat system was hit, but it actually was fake information. They were trying to hit it, but they didn't succeed. And so we will still have internet, power, and everything for now, and hopefully forever. So yeah, everything is good in that regards. However, in terms of the supply, like not we only have shops grocery stores that work, like big ones, and people need to stay in line in order to get in. They're being you can only get in by like 3 people or 5 people and get what you need and get out very quickly. And the produces are limited as well, because like no new cars are arriving with new produces. So you just have like a limited amount of things in the store. If you need something like really, really, really badly, then you can go to the store. But other than that, nothing really works. No shops, even the drugstores. There is a list. I actually, like, if someone wants, I can share a list of some pharmacies that are constantly working 24/7. There is a limited amount of them. Like not all of the pharmacies are working. So
I'll definitely have the list in the description, the video description.
okay,
Yeah.
sure.
And so, do you have any friends from Russia?
Of course I do. Yeah.
What did they think about the invasion?
A lot of my friends, not even a lot, all of them, they are very sorry about the situation. They never wanted war, and I have family in Russia, and they never wanted anything bad for me or for my family or for the rest of Ukrainian people. And what I feel in the majority of Russian population, they're very well educated individuals who can understand clearly the difference between the good and the evil, and they really understand that this is a war between the government official and his ego, I think. So yeah, they do not support it. They do not want it. They go out. They say their words against this, and I really hope that the rest of the world will also pay attention to these meetings, to these shout outs, to these gatherings, and they will also take some important steps in order to do everything possible to stop Putin and to stop the war in Ukraine against Ukrainian people.
Yeah. And ever since the invasion began, how has your life changed?
I actually don't have I don't work anymore because well, I can't. uh, First of all, second of all, as a teacher, I work on a platform called Preply. Most of my students were from Ukraine. I also had students from around the world. But because of the situation in Ukraine right now, everybody understands that there might be bombings, there might be maybe even disconnection from internet and things like that. So they don't want to take these risks and they just cancel the lessons with me. Just yesterday, I had to transfer my projects on my at my official job where I work as a project manager for an animation studio where we make some explainers, animated explainers. So I had to transfer the files to our offices and our colleagues in Canada and the Netherlands because we really don't want to risk the interruption of work, and we don't want to lose these projects. So we had to give them up and to do that. So yeah, I'm just constantly on my phone. I'm checking the news all the time. I'm with my friends, I'm with my family, I'm with my loved ones 24/7 connected. I don't sleep much. Last night I slept for 2 hours or so. First of all, I couldn't sleep. I was scared that something was going to happen while I was asleep and I wouldn't have the time to go down to the basement, to the bomb shelter. And that's why I was constantly waking up and looking at my phone. Yeah, and right now I feel that I am more or less emotionally stabilized. Also, when I take responsibility for someone else or I'm doing some tasks, for example, I invited this person to stay over with me at my house, so I feel also responsible for that. I need to keep sane head. I also gave myself a task of donating blood, so I was dealing with this today. I couldn't do it, unfortunately, because they didn't have enough vessels for blood, so they asked us to return back tomorrow. So I hope to do that tomorrow. So that's another task for me where I feel responsibility and I need to keep my head cool and I need to think clearly, when can I move to the hospital, how can I move there, because you need to stay away in case something flies by or something. Yeah, and how can I do that? What else? Yeah, I also feel responsible for I feel responsibility to share my personal experience, what I'm personally experiencing, showing to people that they're not alone in this and they might be feeling the same thing as I do. I am a quite nervous individual, and I have lots of emotions that I sometimes don't know how to express. So I share that with people as well. I try to teach about some techniques how to soothe yourself if you are too nervous and you just can't breathe. or I'm just sharing some information that I received, just like about the pharmacies or like the points where you can donate blood or where you can volunteer and do all of these things. I feel this is important and for me right now. So this is my job right now at this point, even though I don't have like the official one at this point. This is what I do now for a living, for life, I would say, not for living, but for life. So yeah, this is how my life changed right now. Yeah, I'm constantly aware of the fact that in a minute I might need to drop everything I'm doing at home and just go down to the bomb shelter and sit there for a while, maybe come back, maybe not. So I have my backpack on me constantly as well, just in case. I have some food there, some clothes, some medical, like a little bit of medicine, a little bit of everything to provide some first aid, like basically first aid kit. I don't know, lantern in case the light goes out, things like that, just whatever you need for yeah.
And do you have any friends in areas that have already fallen?
I have a person who lives in Irpin. It's very, very close to Hostomel airport. And yesterday she was terrified. I was personally terrified because she was messaging me constantly. She was asking me like, can you find someone to take me out of here? Because the explosions were too loud. The shootings were like very, very close to them. But they were fighting on the territory of the airport and not very much on the territory of where civilians live. So it's like it actually there is some distance there. But she was messaging me the pictures how they are making, like they don't have a bomb shelter in their building. So they had to make one basically from scratch, how they were like putting sand in big packets and then blocking the doors and the windows to stay safe, because the windows were falling apart and things like that. But she's okay, she's safe, and as far as I know, the people from that region were also fine. But yeah, she was really terrified. And also I have a good friend who lives in Obolony region. He was also at home when the tanks were roaming around. He was hearing the explosions and he was hearing the shootings and everything. Fortunately, nothing happened to him, but a lot of the environment suffered. And I have pictures from that I also shared them on my Instagram, of some cars that were run over by the tanks as they were advancing. So they were just moving and just riding over the car with people in it, no problem. So yeah. But no one that I personally know that has really that has been injured or has gotten into a hospital or died. I don't know such casualties from my own personal environment, from my friends or acquaintances as of now.
Yeah. And is it too dangerous to leave Kiev right now?
To leave, like to go from here?
Yeah,
Um,
both,
so
like to stay and to leave, both.
you have to be smart about about, of course, like if you're just going outside randomly and walking on the street, maybe this is on you. But yeah, you have to be smart about choosing places if you really need to go outside. But I would recommend to stay close to the house and go only when it's really, really necessary for some like really important things. And as for leaving, for example, like the metro for my region doesn't work because I live on the left side of the river. And the peculiarity about the metro is that on this part of the river, it's not under, but it's actually on top. And so because these areas are not safe, they are closed. So people can't use the metro to get out from this region, and the public transportation doesn't work. So the only way you can get out is by car. The taxis don't drive, and you can only like maybe hitchhike, like if you like in Cairo, you know, when you show this, yeah,
Yeah.
where you can go to the pyramids, for example, and someone can stop and then take you there. But like it's yeah, you need to ask people to bring you. My friend who is planning actually to go back tomorrow to my hometown and to her hometown, Zhytomyr. We are actually looking for a car that can just at least transfer her across the river to the other side, where can she further find another way to get back to a different city. So that's it's not easy to get out, I would say, from here for now, at least.
Yeah. And there's been a series and waves of disinformation coming out of Ukraine and on Ukraine. To what extent do you think it's been effective? And do you personally have good access to news and what's going on outside the Kyiv?
So since it all started, our officials were sharing information about the fact that it's important to only read the sources that are official, that have specific data that was taken from reliable source. And we were presented a list of governmental official resources that you can trust, that will provide you like first lips information that you can read, and it would be true. It includes some of the like radio that has their own Telegram channel. Then it also has some independent journalistic gatherings that are also that they have connections with some governmental officials, and they provide this information. Yeah, so there is this list of official sources and some sources that you can also trust, but there are some resources, especially on Telegram, that will provide you some fake information, and then afterwards in like half an hour you will read that, oh, this news was actually fake, so be aware of this, and so on and so forth. So I'm just reading only from a limited amount of resources. I don't trust everything. If someone sends me a piece of news and they say, oh, look, this is happening in Kyiv right now, I directly go to my sources, like the all of these things, and I'm trying to check and see whether I have something that is similar to it or not. If I don't see this piece of news, I would say that I wouldn't trust what is written here. Let's wait a little bit and see how it goes. Yeah, and usually afterwards we find out that this is actually not true. So
And
I,
I'm
yeah.
gonna ask you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. No, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So I have a very cliche question.
Mhm.
So, do you have hope? I mean, of course you do, but what is it built on? Because it's quite well.
Sorry, I need to check this.
Okay.
I hear some sounds like just need to check in.
Yeah, check first.
I think it's quite far.
Yeah, I'm checking on Twitter right now.
What did it say?
No, I'm checking.
Whether I have hope. So of course I do. What is it built on? Our innate Ukrainian will of power and will to live. I am at home. This is where I was born. This is where I live. And if someone comes into your house and they were not invited, what will you do? You will defend your house, and of course you feel powerful and you feel strong when you are defending your house, your territory, and something that sirens and explosions in Kyiv. It doesn't say where, just a piece of
Where is it
information.
on Twitter?
So soon I will need to proceed. No, it's in Telegram. It's a resource called Unian. It's the news of Ukraine. It's very good resource to read from about Ukrainian state of things.
So I think it would be best if we wrap up the episode so you could, if it's
Sorry.
approaching, you could. Yeah, no worries.
Sorry.
So, as a closing remark, do you have a message you want to send to the world, and do you want to say to tell the people worldwide ways in which they could positively contribute and help?
Yes, definitely. So I think number one is to understand that what is happening right now in Ukraine is not a conflict. It's not a disagreement. It's not some small minor thing that can be dealt with. It's a war, a full-blown war against Ukrainian people. And it doesn't concern only Ukraine or Russia or Ukraine and Russia together. It concerns the whole world, because if we are if we are on this place right now, tomorrow another country might be on our place, because Russia will not stop with us. Every single individual to just stand up, go outside, inform about your position about this, speak up, say out loud that you do not agree with Putin's behavior, and do something about it. Да, идем, сейчас идем. Yeah, I think we really need to go, but two more things. We really want to see NATO helping us as well, and doing some like real things, not only supporting us with words and saying that yes, we are all in with you guys, blah blah blah. No, we want to see some actions, because we feel like we are all alone in this and we're fighting against a huge. Have you seen the how big is Russia and how many people live there, and have you seen Ukraine, how small it is? But we still believe that we can fight back, but we need support from other countries as well. We also would really appreciate donations to the Ukrainian army, because we also need some. Okay, sorry, I really need to go now.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Kate. Thank you so much
much.
for your time, and thank you
Bye.
so much, Kate. Thank you. If you've made it this far, please make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening, and please get in touch at Instagram TahrirPodcast, at using the email tahrirpodcast@gmail.com, and that's it. Thank you so much.
Till then, my darling, please wait for me. Till then, no matter when it will be, one day I know we'll be back again. Please wait. Till then, our dreams will live though we are